for today. Alright, my dear learner, as usual, we are now moving on with our human body. And in the previous lesson, we looked at reproduction, introduction. Then here we are going to look at the female reproductive system. Today, we are now looking at the female reproductive system. Now, this female reproductive system is made up of one, the primary sex organs. Made up of the primary sex organs. Two, then it has these other organs which we call the secondary organs, and again it has also the glands. It has also the glands. The glands here, this is where we put the mammary glands that secrete milk for those female animals, and also and some the progesterone glands and so on there. So apart from these glands, let us now start with the primary sex organs. So the primary sex organs here, they are a pair. They are in a pair. So you have a pair. And what are these ones? These ones are called the ovaries. So these ovaries, their importance is to produce what we call gamete. That's the female gamete, which we call the ova or the ovum when it is one. And apart from producing these gametes, they also produce what we call the sex hormones. So they help us to produce the hormones. One of the hormones, we have what we call the estrogen. Then there is what we call the progesterone, as we are going to see later on. So the ovaries are very important. They produce the gametes, and apart from gametes, the female gamete, that is the ova or the ovum, then they also produce the female hormones. Then apart from these ovaries, then they're in a pair, meaning that there are two. So we have the secondary organs, and the secondary organs we are having in the uterus. There is the birth canal, which we call the vagina, and then we have what we call the fallopian tube. There is the fallopian tube, and also the cervix. Okay, so let us now start with these ovaries, and we take that to see where they are located. These ovaries are found in the lower abdominal cavity. So they are found in the lower abdominal cavity, in the pelvic region. So they are found in the pelvic region. So they are two, and they are very small. They are very small, and they are oval. So they are very small and oval like this. They are two, this one and another and this way. Now these ovaries, they are suspended, they are hanging in space. So they are being connected to the abdominal wall by what we call mesenteric. Mesenteric, these are thin mucus layers. So it's a thin mucus layer or thin mucous membrane. If I try to draw it, just it is mucus holding this ovary. It's hanging, it's suspended. So this mucus here, it is just called meso-ovarian. So that one's called meso-ovarian. And then the work of this ovary is to produce the mature ovum. We shall look at that process where we are going, which is called ovulation. Then this ovary, it produces the female gamete, that is the ovum, when it is ready. Then as it is being produced, it has to be received. So it is received by a tube-like structure. If I try to draw it here, and this tube-like structure is what we call the fallopian tube. So this one is what we call the fallopian tube, and once we don't call this one the fallopian tube, we can also call it the oviduct. But this oviduct, it has regions. That's this solid part here, and this solid part is what we call the ampulla, and then this one is what we call isthmus. This one, and then here there is the funnel-like structure, and then this funnel-like structure is done to receive the ovum on its release. This funnel-like structure is what we call infundibula. Then this fan-like structure, it has finger-like structures, and these finger-like structures are called fimbuli. So these fimbuli, they are moving, they are like your fingers, and they are keeping on moving. Why are they moving? In order to be ready to receive the ovum in case it has been produced. So all these parts, infundibula, the fimbuli, the ampulla, isthmus, so all of them forming what we call they are forming what we call the fallopian tube. So within this fallopian tube, this is where we are going to have fertilization taking place. Okay, let us first get the rubber here. We'll first make this one clear. Yes, like this. Okay, we get a pen. Oh, all right. So this one, we have this tube. Then this tube is now going to open into a bag-like structure like this here. So a bag-like structure like this. Then this bag-like structure is what we call the uterus. This is the uterus. If you don't question the uterus, it is also called the womb. Then this uterus, it is made up of 3 layers. We have this outer layer. This outer layer is called the perimetrium. This one is called the perimetrium wall. Then we have the second layer here, and now this second layer here is what we call a mesometrium. Then it has the last one, which is highly vesicular. So this one is highly vesicular, just like this. Now this the innermost is what we call the endometrium. So within this uterus, this is where we are having what we call implantation, as we are going to discuss later on. So all this one is the uterus. We are having implantation. We said here in the fallopian tube or the oviduct, we are having what we call fertilization. Then down here we are having what we call the cervix. So this is the cervix. Then this cervix is going to end up into this canal here, and this canal, it is it is a rough canal, and this canal is called the vagina. So once you don't call this one the vagina, it is also called the birth canal. This one is called the birth canal. Then this vagina ends up with an opening, and this opening is what we call the vaginal opening. And once we don't call it the vaginal opening, it is also called the vulva. Then this vulva, it has a thin membrane, and this thin membrane is only seen in the virgins, and this thin membrane is called the hymen. So, and this hymen is just a characteristic of only the virgin females. So this is the vulva. Then we are having the vagina. Then from the vagina we are having the cervix. Then the cervix has 2 openings, this upper opening and this lower opening here. So this is the diagram showing what we call the female reproductive system. Then this upper part of the uterus is called right? It's not this one. It starts with let us get that. Okay, let us fundus. This one is just okay, fundus, as we are saying it here, this upper swollen part. So this one is just an extension to the next to the second pair of to the second ovary, because there are 2, they are in a pair. So let us now take a look, and we rename, we compare as we are naming this. So here this is our female reproductive system. So let us now label it. So what you are seeing here, let us get a clear color here. Let us use this red. Okay, so what you are seeing here, this is the ovary, and we say the work of the ovary is to produce the female gamete. Those are the ovum, or the ovum with 1, and apart from that one, to produce the female sex organs, that is, or I mean hormones, as in the estrogen and progesterone. Then these finger-like structures are what we've called the fimbuli. Then this is the fallopian duct, the fallopian funnel, which is called infundibula. Then this is all of this one here is what we've called the fallopian tube. So this is the fallopian tube, or the oviduct, where fertilization is going to take place. And now this swollen part of the fallopian tube is what we've called the ampulla. Then this one, this mucus layer or lining or membrane, is what we've called the meso-ovarian. So we have meso-ovarian. Then we have another one which is going to connect it to this is the ovarian ligament. This is the ovarian ligament joining or holding this ovary to the uterus, or the uterus walls. Then we have another one behind there which is holding it onto the abdominal wall, and that is what we call the meso-ovarian. So this one is the ovarian ligament. Then the other one there, it is what we called the meso-ovarian. Then this one is what we've called the fundus. this is the fundus, then this is the uterus. As you can see, the womb, it is thick, it has 3 layers. We have this one, the outer layer, which we call the perimetrium, then this one, the second layer, which we called the mesometrium, and again this one, which is highly vesicular, which we called the endometrium. So here is the wall, here is the uterus, then these are uterus walls. Then here, this narrow opening you are seeing here is what we called the cervix. Then it has 2 openings, the lower opening and the upper opening. Then this is the internal OS, then this is the external OS, that opening. Then all this, the rough structure you are seeing is what we call the vagina. So the vagina, it is ending up with what we call the vulva, or the vaginal opening, with a thin membrane, which is called the hymen. So with this one is the diagram. This one is showing the female reproductive system. So in the next lesson, we shall now look at it fully, and we should look at these organs into their details. So let us go in for the assignment. For our assignment here, let us change the color. Let us first change the color here to white. Okay, we get the chalkboard. Another chalkboard here. All right, so our number 1 here, which part of the female reproductive system, produce gametes. Number 2, where does fertilization take place in a cow? Number 3, identify the process. Identify the process that takes place in the uterus. Number 4, in the uterus. Number 4, name the membrane. Name the membrane that closes the vaginal opening in virgins. Number 5, how useful to a beach. Number 6, define reproduction. Number 7, draw and label all the parts of a female reproductive system. Number 8, that is a gamete. Okay, you've been a good learner. We meet in the next lesson. That will be lesson 16.